Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Good morning, Devo. Good morning, Carvey. Good morning, Keon. Good morning. It's good to say good morning, Keon. I haven't said good morning, Keon, in a long time. Good morning, Keon. Good morning, Michelle. The day after, the day before.
Do you would you like her mic on, sir?
When did that become a thing around here?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
When did that become, do you want to turn the guest mic on?
Guest? She a guest?
Oh my God! I was gonna
Let me get that mic on.
Is that a fitty? Is that a fitty?
That's what Carvey gave me.
That's a nifty 50. I ain't seen one of them in a long time.
Nifty
A fitty.
A nifty 50.
Man, you don't know.
How old is that phrase? A nifty 50.
About as long as I've seen one.
School.
Shots. Shots.
So let me really enjoy Juneteenth, but I'm exhausted, man. That heat
Did
yesterday.
you look like you was about to die?
You
when
did. You asked
came
me. You
in?
said, was something wrong? I'm going, yeah.
Your
that
face
heat.
was so red.
Man,
oh
it
my
was
God.
Like I was out there,
Michelle. He walks in the rise and grind, sits down, and takes off his shoes.
When I came in, he had his shoes off. I was like, what's going on up in here?
Yeah.
And I'm going to just tell you, it's a day that I'm glad to be dark skinned because, we built for certain things. Little light skinned boy come in. I was looking at Keith's face like, really? Face was
My
beat red.
co-worker, she had sunburn on her nose
Yeah,
and she was under 10.
I'm just saying.
It was hot, but it
there
was
are days
beautiful.
I appreciate my darkness.
Oh, man. But don't let that fool you.
I know.
I'm just saying.
But I ain't look like you did yesterday.
Oh,
You
man,
was so
it
up for the
just,
flow up.
Man, it was just
Your
not,
face was so red.
not great for light bright.
And then you had
yesterday.
them old thick old socks on. I'm like, dude, your
Is that
socks
for
was
comfort?
too thick.
No, for comfort. I'm trying to walk.
But you can get the bottom part that's thick and the top part is
those
thin.
are really thin. They weren't thick.
They look like it.
No, they would not.
I was like, you made me hot with them socks
Shit,
on.
it was hot.
Did you just? I just want to be clear.
That's how hot it was.
I heard it.
Your show.
I heard it. I just want people to say it's just not me that has these
Moments.
Oops moment.
What car are we doing with $50 bill?
I don't know.
He's a little young to have $50 bill.
No, he's getting paid like that, right?
Oh, he is a rapper. He is.
You say he's a rapper.
You already are. Oh, you didn't order it already? I got to order your food.
Wow.
Man, you ain't called this in. Call it in. Call it in. So it can be ready when I get over there.
Oh man, are we doing breakfast?
Yeah, he ordering from Perkins. What do you know about having catfish with butter, rice, and scrambled eggs for breakfast?
Man, I'm telling you, that's the bomb.
Catfish
never
with
had
butter rice,
Fried
scrambled eggs
catfish.
with cheese.
Rice pilaf or something like that with a fried catfish. Okay, fine, or a baked catfish. Never did this with
How you,
eggs.
how you do your eggs? Scramble over easy.
You got scrambled.
I do the over easy, mix it with those grits, man. Woo!
That yolk busting open on food is
I
so
love that.
nasty.
I
That's
love
some
that, man.
nasty, uncooked
Oh, man.
foolishness. So white people nonsense. I don't know when black people start
Oh, I
eating
like
that.
that over easy now.
Yeah, y'all
Over easy.
nasty.
Like the yolk.
It's yolk, man. It's protein still inside when it's fried. It just looks so gross.
And that's like if,
Like literally, Donna
You-
went to breakfast and she like bust that yolk. I got up and went straight to the bathroom. At 3
so
o'clock.
you had like the egg sandwich in New York, right?
Yeah, but it's fried.
It's fried hard, but you
Right.
can get it soft.
I know, but I never did. It's
Oh,
gross.
man.
I don't know how y'all have yolk on stuff. Ugh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is it awesome?
Let me a couple of things I know you wanted to. Let me say this: we have a ways to go, and we have a ways to go as a people. And yes, it always gets back to enslavement. We have the responsibility to teach our history. So then maybe people would think, because I was hoping yesterday that nobody died on Juneteenth Day, you know, and
Yeah, alone a child.
let alone a
17-year-old.
right. And so, but I think that, as you said earlier, that falls on us. You know, certain things we should just make sacred, and part of that, because I don't think many of those kids even had a clue. And I don't know. I wasn't at the show. I know Keon was there. I don't know how much education was going on about Juneteenth.
Keith,
And I mean, not just there, but
I'm
even
hearing this right, and I guess, do we value life any day? Nobody should have to lose their life over foolishness,
Right.
over words,
Right.
You know, come on, man.
But I mean, no, because to
I
me,
don't
that's
wanna
just
pick
not
out a
realistic.
day.
I mean, death's been around since the beginning
It's like
of time.
nobody should die on Christmas. Nobody should die on the 4th.
No,
nobody
no,
should
no,
have
no,
to lose their
but
life for foolishness.
People,
Period.
I mean, come on. We just got to be realistic that this is a part of life. Death, conflict, drama, tempers. It's been going on since biblical days, before biblical. I mean, this is man.
I guess that's why you need the 10 Commandments.
And stop it. This is just man. But I think that there is a degree of reverence. It's like what you used to do when you went into church. You went into church, you was dressed respectfully. You know, the elders in the church, you handled them one way.
Why you say used to?
Because a lot of the norms have changed. You know, people come
I
up in
guess.
church any kind of way, looking all crazy.
Women wearing pants. Yeah.
No, you didn't. You did
Well,
not.
I was raised Kojic. That was no way. Your
I
arms couldn't
mean-
be out. You couldn't wear makeup. You didn't want to
That
lightly. You
sound
couldn't
like
put on
Jehovah's Witnesses.
no red, ruby red lipstick. They would call you Jezebel.
See, that's some man made up nonsense. It ain't nowhere in no scriptural document that say wearing ruby red lipstick is a sin. That's a man made up nonsense.
And who is it directed at?
Women. That's a man made up nonsense.
So I think we have to do a better job where some things, and I think we can. I mean,
Oh.
if ignorance,
Should I be turning on?
He's such.
I definitely.
So you allow him to take your mic?
It was like yesterday, people coming in off the streets. We do a live
Right.
remote, just being
Right.
part of the program. So after a
Right.
while, it was just like, let them come in.
Whatever.
Hey, you know what that hot red lipstick is? Quit playing like them red
I
glasses.
do
you
not
got on.
know. I do not know.
Little red
Shut up,
Corvette.
Carly. No, because that's somebody
Yeah.
that's
What is Prince?
that
Man or
is
woman?
trying to control people, and you know, all of a sudden a lipstick color makes you a Jezebel. Like, stop.
No, I mean,
playing.
it's passionate. It's fire. It's seductive.
I
Women,
think
works.
women couldn't show their arms.
It
That's
works.
white people nonsense.
No, it works.
That's like a male.
Well-
the Rolex or the Cartier.
Or the spandex.
No, it's not. It's not the same.
It's not because you flossing. Nobody's gonna think you loose and morally bankrupt because you wear Rolex. It's not the same thing.
But how many?
If a
I can
woman put on
remember
that
where
red
women.
lipstick.
Well, I remember
Tables turn.
where women did not wear red,
Yeah,
and then women
white
in the
people, white
80s
people
Hold on,
nonsense.
Let me finish. In the 80s,
Because let me be clear, black folks, particularly not of this country, wore red or whatever color they wanted to wear.
Debo.
That's white people
You want me
nonsense.
to snatch your microphone?
No.
It is.
but in the 80s, women then embraced wearing red, and red became the power color for women. the point is that a lot of this stuff is patriarchal, which means is driven by men.
And red on men is power. Donald Trump and his red tie.
Right. But what I'm saying that women started
Satan.
wearing red dresses
Right.
to express power.
Right.
Still-
Except for black women.
Still saying.
I
And
knew black
dark-skinned
women.
women.
I knew black women.
No,
wore
no, no.
red.
Because there was a time when black women, particularly if you were dark skinned, you were told not to wear red because it highlighted how black
That's
you
a
were.
different piece.
I'm
That's
just
dress,
saying,
That's dress for
it-
complexion.
It's all a part of the
As
conversation.
one who had to
And
wear
there were
a whole lot of
employers
pink,
that did
I
not
can
want
appreciate that.
them wearing
Hey,
red
Keith.
to work.
Michelle, Keith, do you guys remember the song? I think who made the? I'm trying to remember who it was. Was it the Police called Roxanne?
Roxanne,
Turn on the red light.
you don't have to put on the red light.
White people nonsense.
I'm just saying.
That's
White people
The
nonsense.
red light district.
It's a jam.
Like most other
Police.
cultures
Yeah.
State.
and races, vibrant colors. Go to Mexico, go to, any place else in the world, vibrant colors. White people, the only people I know turn colors.
So
into
why
something
did black
bad.
people
Red is
decide-
still seductive in the nation.
Why did black people then say that you should not wear a red dress? Because you're saying that now.
Trying to accommodate white people.
No. How about this? How about religion? How about this idea?
Who and where does that come from? White people.
White people did religion?
They did.
I didn't know that.
They did. Stop acting like you. Did anybody black write a book in the Bible?
That's not just religion.
I'm
That's
just
a
asking.
religion.
I'm asking a question.
Did anybody?
Did anybody black write any biblical text that's used today? Did a black person write any biblical text in any religion that's used today?
So who wrote nature?
It's not the question.
No, because the bright
So let's
color
get
on the
back-
animal is
Uh-huh,
important.
uh-huh.
Hold on, Keith.
And,
No,
and
no.
to clean up what one of the because I didn't have my phone out, y'all, when y'all was texting me,
Mhm.
so I apologize. Somebody said that the original commandments did not say "Thou shalt not kill." It said "Thou shalt not commit murder."
Right.
Okay, and I didn't know that.
Well, kill was, but you got to what they're putting up on the wall is basically a shorthand. And we're talking about the 10 Commandments, the law that's going into effect in Louisiana in 2025. I think that's the year
Yes.
it's enacted. It's going to go to the Supreme Court.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell you what kills their
But the court we
arguments.
have today is scary. What's going to happen?
And then people said that they might get a hearing, but the great danger is the Establishment Clause, which says that Congress will make no laws establishing religion. I think for people to try to make the argument, and the guy's name, his first name is Doty. That should have showed you something right there. Oh, Doty said that, look, this is not religious. It is religious, dude. You start off and say, thou shalt have no other gods before you. That's what makes it religious. That then trumps everything else that follows, right? Because you've already. So now if you're in a private school, I went to Catholic school, I expect religion. Public school, no. And I'm going to tell you a couple of things have changed since I heard you all talk about prayer in school. Our country has changed. I mean, we are more diverse. I can't ever remember Muslims other than the Nation of Islam. I never met the other Muslims. And then I found out we have Muslims, we have people come in with different thoughts, and we have a lot of people that don't even believe in God. And so if we're in a public space, publicly financed, then I think that we should be very careful of that. I know there's a whole lot of religious folks who thinking if you put the 10 Commandments up, and I heard somebody ask the question, what happens if it's violated? I mean, what?
Play at your own risk.
Right. And to put it on the wall, but it's a whole religious thing. And Michelle is right. It's rooted in the white supremacy of Christianity. And I think we have to be very mindful sometimes of these things where you're putting in, because what's next? It is a slippery
Isn't
slope.
there some states, and I don't know exactly where it's at, but I heard tell of a state where, like, if you commit adultery, you cheat on your wife, it's illegal and you can be charged with
It
it.
used to be. Most states have gotten rid of their sodomy laws and gotten rid of their adultery laws. It's no longer a grounds for divorce. Now with no fault divorce, as two people can't get along, they want a divorce. Bam. So when I saw that, I was disturbed, but it's part of a greater narrative that we have going on now. And then that gets you back to you talking about MAGA, Make America Great Again. People want you to go back retro. Well, what are we talking about when we talk about this whole retro piece, going back to a time when America was great? Y'all mentioned prayer in school. When we had prayer in school, was segregation still happening? Was injustice still happening? And in some of those schools where kids were praying, were they not the victims of the systemic racist system? What did prayer do? It did nothing. And so, excuse me for all you folks who believe, it did nothing. Sorry, it did nothing. So when we start interjecting religion into public finance spaces, I think that is a problem, and I'm against it. And look, I'm in the religion business. I understand that people get out, but I think that we need to be real careful.
You need some medicine.
Let me see if I can get a reaction. Like Michelle Cook.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. When she do, she
Oh,
threw
okay.
down.
You're not coughing on that one anymore.
No, she
Oh.
threw down for real.
So anyway,
She
thought
only
she-
doing that because she's not in the room.
No, I thought she bought it. I wasn't gonna say it in front of her face, and if you don't play her the tape, I'll deny it. But yeah,
She leave the building.
Did you feel the building shake? She hit the step.
Wow.
But to that color piece though, I was just gonna say, I wish she was here so I could say it. While she's pushing against the white man made the red, God made. When you talk about, watch the Nature Channel. The brighter the color, the more dangerous or poisonous the animal. Don't eat the pretty red flower, you'll die. You know what I'm saying? It says warning.
Well, let me tell you why I think why women this prohibition or the societal position on women wearing red. The Scarlet Letter, and anybody familiar with that little piece of American literature, talks about a woman who has a relationship with the local parson. She gets pregnant. They find out that she's pregnant, but they don't know by whom. And so people who committed adultery, something you just mentioned, she had to put a big red A. That's scarlet, right? Red. And so red in some people's mind has always been this identifier for things that are lucid and just. So again, when the women began to embrace red, I don't know if it was the 80s or 90s when they began to wear red as power. That was more women empowering themselves. I don't know if and for Black people, look, religion has an outsized influence in our world.
Keith, let me ask you this: when did the church embrace purple?
Purple was always considered royalty, and so people took that color, and we're a royal priesthood. And so that's why purple was. There were some people say, "Well, Jesus wore purple." I don't know if Jesus wore purple, but okay, if you feel that way. But then that was used to justify prosperity ministry. They used that as one of their little linchpins in, I ain't even gonna call it theology, in what they were doing in terms of their religion. So yeah, I think we look at these things as iconic, but a lot of these things, like we were just talking to a good friend of mine, we were talking, and she grew up in the Church of God in Christ. I was talking to her husband who grew up a Baptist, and he was saying that she was kind of unusual because her parents allowed her to do things. For many kids I knew in the Church of God in Christ, they couldn't do athletics.
Nope.
They couldn't, go to a movie. Oh, that wasn't even happening.
Man,
School dances.
no,
That wasn't. And I think people felt like if we had a certain level of piety, that we would, because it had a lot to do. It's not so much you going to see Jesus. It also had a lot to do with how we navigated in this world as descendants of enslaved Africans in this world, where we're dealing with racism. The church became a refuge. And though they never talked about the racism, a lot of the racism is what drew people there, right? And even now, having a conversation about what is sin, that's a little fluid.
I'm gonna try to squeeze in a caller before we go to our first break.
Yes.
Let's go ahead to the phone lines.
All right. Caller, welcome to the program.
Oh, yeah, you can squeeze me in. I waited for 10 minutes, 8. Can I wait till after the thing? Because I have to say something.
Okay.
Oh, well, squeeze me in then. I guess nobody went. Oh, you're beautiful souls. Hey, y'all switched a couple of subjects since I've been waiting. So now I want to get on the subject purple. Purple was the robe that they put on Jesus when they hung him, when they crucified him. You can read the actual words. And even though you can look at it in the movies and all that, if you read the words and you look at the movie, they show him in a red robe in the movies. But in the word of the scripture, he was lynched and he was crucified in a purple robe. Mr. Parris, you say you represent religion or you work in religion. Which one was it? The statement you made? Come on,
when
man. I
they
just want to know. Don't be scared of me now, man. I just want to know
well,
so
damn,
that
let
when
me
I
answer the
charge you up
question,
and beat
man.
you up, I
Let me
know
answer.
which
I'm getting
one
ready to
is.
answer the question. You talking
Look at you. Go
two
ahead, raise
words
some
today.
seconds.
When they put that on him, that was to humiliate and mock him because he was accused of
So
being
they
king
switching up
of
the
the
word.
Jews. And that was, it had nothing to do with honoring him. It had everything to
So
do
who
with
switched the
mocking him.
word? The white man, like Michelle said, like you also said, she is saying that the white structure and the power, which was the white man of power at that time, if you look at the time that it's written and it was stated and it was printed,
People
when
in
you look
power
at
wore,
the
they wore purple.
okay, but
Caesar wore
still, what
purple.
Michelle
Pontius
said is
Pilate
the
wore
white man
purple. It was an
who wrote
indication
the
of their
story
position in
tells
the
the
Roman
truth.
Empire. It was
The
purple.
white whoever wrote the story tells the truth, and most of the truth that they got, the Roman Empire got from the Southern Africa.
Okay. All right, you're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Call, I see you. We're going to grab you right after the break.
June is Men's Health Month. It's time to take control of your health. Monitor your blood pressure, cholesterol, glucose, and wait to catch conditions early. Call Outreach Community Health Centers at 414-727-6320
say something. I'm trying to keep say it without laughing. Brother Debo, you said that red lipstick on ladies made them be perceived as a Jezebel, and I never knew that in my whole life.
Yeah, that was
So
one of the teachings in the church that I went to. Yeah, women were taught that they couldn't wear certain shades of makeup, and certainly not a lot of makeup, and certainly you didn't wear red.
wow. But okay, so now when it made me think when I was little. So when I saw the older like church ladies gathering together, like talking whatever they were talking about, and they might be looking at a lady with some red lipstick on, that's probably what they were talking about, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. All right, happy belated Juneteenth.
Thank you,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, they was definitely talking about if she come up in there with some red on, or if the dress was too short, or a split in it here, or if the arms was out, or if she didn't have a scarf or something around, she could not show no cleavage like that. You know, yeah, there was certain stipulations that certainly, you know.
So I'm a Baptist,
Mhm.
and so let me just speak for Baptists in terms of if we had a top 10, a top 5 of sins, what would be our number one? So I'm gonna give you the Baptist number one. See if it's different than the Kojic number one.
Now listen, I'm not the
No, I'm just
renowned authority on Kojic, but
no, but you grew up in the environment.
I know what I know. Okay.
You know the culture.
Okay.
So for Baptists, sex, that's the number one sin.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be right in there.
Yeah.
With
And that's where everything around that. Now, what are we dealing with? And I think sometimes we need to step away from the mystical and the superstition and understand what people were dealing with. They deal with the same issues they've always dealt with. Children, and particularly, and I'm going to say this because this is a legal definition, it is not a moral condemnation. Children born outside of wedlock. That was the concern going back to biblical times, right? Because you got to take care of them. And so this idea, if you came to church, and I can't speak for everybody, but I know how my family worked. There were some folks who were born outside of wedlock, which again is a legal designation, right? I think that becomes important because if you look at it, I said all the time when I'm working with the fathers that I work with, inheritance rights. What was your inheritance rights dictated by? Who your daddy was. So when a person was born outside of wedlock, now if it's part of marriage, usually now you're in line, for inheritance rights. Even when you read the story of Jacob, I want to no. I'm sorry, I'm getting my stories mixed up. Read the story of Abraham. Now remember, there was a promise because Sarah, Abraham's wife, was so old she was thought to be beyond childbearing age. People need to understand in Semitic culture, this idea of man having one wife, no, men had multiple wives, they had concubines. So who your daddy was determined what your inheritance was. This is why when you talk to Palestinian people, for example, or you talk to so-called Arab people, what they will say to you is if you go back and follow Semitic law, actually, Isaac was not Abraham's first child. Ishmael was. Ishmael's mom was a concubine. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. But it did matter to Sarah. And so when Sarah got pregnant and had her child, now the issue becomes who's going to get inheritance. And when you read the story, you will find that in effect, Hagar, who was Ishmael's mom, was bragging to the other folks about basically her son is going to get the major inheritance because he's the oldest child. That little thing was kind of went around, and you found out that then they ended up banishing because they ended up banishing Hagar and Ishmael, but then you found that there was an inheritance that went with him and her. I say with him, with her. So a lot of this, when we sit up and talk about sin, a lot of times people are talking about sex, whether it is having sex outside of wedlock, which I will go out on the limb and say that's probably one of the more violated rules that we have. And whether or not, and then it gets into other things. Who's having sex, right? That gets around the whole LGBTQ issue because, many Christians believe that sex should be part of marriage between a man and a woman. But that ain't the world we've been living in. I mean, that's just real talk. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning to everybody there.
Yeah, thank you.
I just have a red dress story I'd like to share.
Mm-hmm.
This was in the 80s, like 84. And I went to a revival with one of my friends.
Went to a meeting last night.
Right. And I was too sharp with my red dress on.
No, you didn't come into a revival in a red dress.
Yeah, I didn't know. As the revival came to a close, I was pointed out by the pastor. He was a visiting pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said he was from Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
But he pointed to the what do you call the ladies that help you, fan you, and all that.
Oh, yeah, ushers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he kept pointing, and she was going aisle by aisle. No, keep going, keep going. Then she got to my aisle, and he said, "Go over too." And I'm looking back like everybody else, right? But it's me. Yes, you with the red dress. Come up here and get prayer.
Uh-oh.
He invited me to altar prayer. I'm getting ready to get a special prayer.
Right, you're gonna get laid. You can get some hands laid on you.
Yeah, he was getting ready to create a miracle in front of the whole church. He was gonna save me.
So let me ask you a question. So you still gonna have on the red dress after you get saved, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking.
But she won't wear it back.
Oh, she won't wear it back.
Church.
That man.
See, after that, the mothers are gonna take her off in the corner over there.
Uh-huh.
They didn't get the opportunity.
Uh-oh. The devil was busy.
And as the story is, you end up joining that church
and squeezed the life out of my head. And he kept telling me, "Say, save me. Say it. Say, save me, Jesus. Say it." And I had to wrench my head out of his hand, and I marched back up the aisle, grabbed my child who was with me, who was also in a nice little red plaid dress.
Okay.
And we left. We walked home on the streets of Milwaukee at 10 o'clock at night.
In your red dress.
In my red dress.
Stopping at no corners.
Stopping at no corner. I was so angry.
I never dare anybody walk up and just drive up and down the stroll on Lisbon. You see anybody out there in red dresses? Ain't nobody out there in red dress. I mean, that idea that you a fallen woman because you wore red. And then people wonder why people don't join church. Because your whole idea of, let me paraphrase Jesus. Jesus said that it is not what a man eats that defiles him, but what comes out of him. It is not what a person wears that defiles them. It's what comes out of them. And you hear people all the time, and it's, I don't want to call it a lie. I don't know what to say when people say, we just want people to come as you are. You don't believe that. You want them to come dressed a certain way because you're dressed a certain way. As if how you dress will indicate the type of person that you really are. Now, some people say it's expressing. Some people like to express themselves. They love the color. They love the beauty. What is that? This whole idea. And if you putting on red, what's that going to make a man fall because you put on red?
Right. Come on now. If you that weak. Right.
And it ain't on her. It's on him.
Do you remember? I don't know. I'm a Turner Classics fan.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the Jezebel?
Jezebel. That's right.
She put on a red dress.
And wait a minute, the crazy thing was that was in black and white.
It was in black and white.
That was in black and white, but you knew.
And she put on a red dress and lost her intended.
Oh man.
He went up to Boston and married another woman who didn't wear red.
Well, that was Henry Fonda, right? Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. That. I think that we evolve, and again, that's the outsized influence of religion, where let's see. Hold on. Let's see. He was a Hebrew. Okay. No, I was just responding back to someone. Someone had asked me, was King Solomon black? No, he was Hebrew, but he did hook up with the Queen of Sheba, who was African. All right. So yeah, I think that when we have this discussion, and I don't know how to feel about when I see young people with great bodies, and let me preface it with great bodies, who want to display that body. I don't know how I should feel about that.
Too much of anything is not good.
Right. But who's to say what's too much?
Displaying too much body, that's not good. I mean, there's no sense of tempting.
But is it the person who? Well, you said they tempting the weak. I don't care. A person who's on a mission don't care what you're wearing. I mean, they can
exactly.
Right. So I mean, if you're thinking, but I think as we get older, when we were young, when we had the bodies, we were showing our bodies.
I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't. You
put on that red dress.
Brazen husband.
You put on that red dress.
But I thought it was over.
Oops, wrong.
I grew up with no red nail polish, no red lipstick, no red clothes. Otherwise, you were a brazen husband.
Right.
And
so what do men wear that makes them whatever? Is there a male equivalent to being a hussy? What do men wear that would be an indication that they would be a hussy? I'm just going to use that term as a universal application. What do men wear? And do we talk about what men wear? We do not. We talk about what women wear. We
started talking about the men, and they were the young men who started wearing their drawers outside.
Okay, and we understand that. And then even then, remember I said we don't do a good job. These dudes don't even understand that, dude. The reason why that style came out of the California penal system and other penal systems was, dude, that meant that you were available basically to get a boyfriend. I'm being very nice in jail.
Yeah.
And you still walking around, sagging, thinking, but then that's the influence that people going off the prison, coming back. There's a certain impact on culture that then is brought back to that. But I want to get back to, what do men wear that we would consider to be sinful? I've got the sagging out, but what we don't talk about men and what they wear.
You can't think of anything.
Of course. And that's the ridiculousness of it. Yeah, I mean that we
want a body shirt, and okay, that's the new style.
Right. But I think that
I could think of something.
What?
Now it
it's more, that extreme.
Well, wait, no, it's more prevalent now. It's more prevalent now than it was when I was coming up. I think what men wear, and it's just my personal, I'm not saying that the church has certainly leaned this way, because currently they don't. It's obvious, you can see it. These little short, tight suits.
Those
yeah, I mean, come on.
It's with a 340-pound football player trying to squeeze it.
These little tight suits, you're trying to show all your. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
That would be inappropriate to me, and I see it prevalent now. The sleeves are short, the pants is tight, they're flooding at the bottom and all of that.
Are we preaching about it? Nope.
No, because the preachers are wearing them. They wear it too.
There's the point. So we're back to this male.
It's offensive.
Right. This male patriarchy thing that says, in effect, that one, and I've never accepted this premise, that women seduce men. Yeah, you're not seduced if you don't want to be seduced. That's how that works. And so if there's a certain mindset, and then look, there's biology going on too. So there's a lot, but I think this is real interesting, and I had never thought about this discussion. So thank you for this.
Keith, do you wear the small suits?
No. No, I am taking one back.
What do they call
Let
them?
me just ask you
Slim.
another one, quick one.
Slim.
Extreme slim.
What about the bare feet?
You got
I was
beautiful
told
feet. I'm
what?
for it. But
When we
everybody,
were
everybody
told
don't have the feet
At
for open
work,
toes.
that you couldn't wear sandals
Right.
without stockings.
Right.
Now,
Nobody
what's the
can wear
purpose of that,
stockings
Keith?
with
As
sandals.
you being a supervisor, what were you told from HR as to why?
Oh, don't even
you
get
had to
me.
have-
Oh, Gwen lived through this. Don't even get me talking about dress codes
Yes.
and government employees. Lord,
Yes.
I had, and Gwen can attest to this. Every spring,
Mhm.
I would have one particular meeting dedicated to what, Gwen?
Dress code.
Dress code.
Summertime
And what was the
attire.
number one issue? Oh, what was the number one issue we'd be fighting back and forth about?
The shorts.
Shorts.
Mhm.
And whether or not
Yeah.
women can wear shorts in a professional environment.
No.
No.
I said
But then
no.
You could wear a teeny tiny little mini skirt.
Right. But even
That
then,
was
that would be
shorter than
inappropriate because I
And it
have
was
said to people
appropriate.
that skirt is too short. I have said to people, only because we deal with the public, you probably don't want to wear that top. But that's because we're dealing with the public, right? And so you want to be, because I remember when I first started at the department, someone said to me, "You will not know the difference between the clients and the workers." I remember them saying that to me. And so I'm not into where we had to go to when we went to W-2. Remember we went to W-2, and the W-2 agencies had a very stringent dress code. And so
Yes,
now
they
we're going
did.
back and forth because we co-located up where Howard Fuller is now.
Mhm.
That was one of our locations where Evolve Church, that was one of our locations. And so we were constantly going back first with Employment Solutions and then with UMOS, not so much with UMOS, but with Employment Solutions about what should be appropriate, what's appropriate. And we had a union then. And so the union would come in and argue, but I'm going on about, skirts?
Yeah.
And then we had an administrator who would wear short pantsuits, which just killed my little argument. So when she came in, I was just going like, it's shorts. Now, could a guy come in and wear shorts to work? No. So, but now, the flip on this is what's really crazy now. Because of COVID, you go into most offices now and it is really relaxed. I work in child support and I'm not saying it's good or bad, but people wear jeans. Well, we couldn't wear jeans. I mean, it was
Right, but then they stopped seeing people in person.
right. And
clients
so you're working
customers in
privately.
person.
Why do you need to dress up? But I think there's a couple of things there. One, how we view women, and two, we're dealing with we're becoming less and less casual. When you go to church now, you don't have to put on a suit. Now, the reason why we wore suits and we dressed up had everything to do, not everything, but it had a lot to do with the agrarian lifestyle. Agrarian mean we were farmers. You wore overalls all week. Sunday was dress up day.
Sunday go to meeting clothes.
Sunday go to meeting clothes. And then part of one of the terms that came out of Juneteenth, the first couple of Juneteenth celebrations was Sunday best. You put on your Sunday best because that was the time that men got to wear a suit. Normally you don't get to wear a suit. Now for me, kind of technically, I could wear a suit every day.
But I recall coming up, Keith. I mean, not to say that it was, but certainly it was viewed as disrespectful, if you will,
To who?
to the church
To
to
the
show
church,
up there
to
with
God.
just everyday Joe Public street clothes on.
Oh, and he said to God.
Yeah.
So I asked this question at my church. I heard people say, I don't cuss in church because that's the Lord's house. Well, is God restricted to the church? Because we use the God as omnipresent.
You're speaking from a Baptist.
Oh, yeah, I'm a Baptist.
Because
Baptist boy.
from a Kojic standpoint,
I know. If
you
Baptists
don't
felt that
cuss
way
at
too.
all. I mean, you've been delivered from that. That's a part of living saved.
Supposed to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, not to say that, you know.
I know.
I
know. And that part of the problem is when your world becomes real black and white, it puts you in a corner. You always hear about, I know we've been dealing with this in Sunday school the last 3-4 weeks. This idea about living by the law and how most people, no, because the laws, sometimes they're ridiculous.
You're human too.
You're human too. And then, like I said, we started off with sin. Sin is fluid.
You ever heard the song say from the waist up, I'm a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
From the waist down, I'm just a man.
Right. And what does that get back to? The number one sin, sex.
Yeah.
We have a problem trying to negotiate how we should feel about sex, especially if you come out of a religious environment. I'm gonna tell you, it will. Should I go on the limb? Go out on this limb? It can mess you up.
Go out on the limb.
It can mess you up. It really can.
You've been out there all day.
I have been. I've dropped a couple words, so I'm.
Been out on
Whoa, but I want to come in the house now. You've been out there. Stay out there. But no, I'm just saying that's what we struggle with. You know, we struggle with sex. We struggle with sexuality. There are a lot of influences there. There's societal influences. You have a society. We sell everything here, it seems like, with sex. And
we struggle with the weakness of the flesh.
Now, what does that mean, though? What does that mean? What is the weakness of the flesh?
The things that we overdo, the things that, some of us eat too much.
Right.
Eat all the wrong things. Some of us drink too much.
Right.
Drink too much alcohol. The weakness of the flesh.
Okay.
And that's just basic, but then you make the responsibility on one person to take care of everybody else. So if I don't wear red, then you should be okay with looking at me, because then you won't get excited.
And Gwen, I'm gonna let you in on something. There was a whole lot of women up in that church wearing white, and they was about as unsaved as you were.
Yeah, you ain't supposed to wear no white now. You ain't holy.
There you go. I was laughing, and I should put it out there, but don't they? I know one year they had the Gospel Music Workshop of America here, and they have their white night.
Don't be holy. Holiness. White exemplifies holiness.
Oh, yeah. White.
Yeah.
Purity.
White.
Women's Day. What they gonna wear?
White.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord, here we go. Mm-hmm. And what color was Jesus? White. Come on, y'all.
Not to me.
Well, not to me either. But here's this whole thing about why white. Our history in America says that white has been anything other than holy.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. But I'm just telling what our lived experiences have been. So
it has been deemed as everything clean and pure
is
and
white.
holy.
Is white. Do you know in Africa what people wear for mourning? They wear white. They wear white to mourn. Mm-hmm. Not black. They wear white to mourn.
Mm-hmm.
Always good talking with you. And the next time you go to church,
keep up the good conversation.
I will. Next time you go to church, do not wear that red dress.
I've had my time.
She went to revival.
Was he from out of town?
Yeah, he's the evangelist. That's a target.
Was the evangelist from out of town?
Yeah, he's from Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he was.
Oh, you a target?
Man. We got one. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Now, you been up there implying everybody was sinning. Oh, but she said it because she got the red dress on. The evidence of the sin. Discovery.
And I look around as I'm leaving. Nobody else had on red.
And they all looking at you like, ooh.
I know. And they looked at me when I came in and said, yeah, she getting it.
Who had to apologize to the church when they got pregnant? The woman? You know any dudes come down here talking about, I got such and such pregnant, and y'all need to pray for me?
Yeah. No, it's just the woman.
It's her.
I'm sorry I let that happen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was, what'd you call it? The weakness of the flesh?
Yes.
Okay, you went by yourself. It was like in the Bible, Jesus said a woman was caught in adultery. Oh, that meant that there was somebody else there, but it seemed like she was the only one that caught the case.
Right. Even if it was unwanted.
Right. Appreciate you.
You're still wrong for being a woman.
Yeah, I saw folks yesterday too down at Juneteenth.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
I've been trying to call folks.
Okay. All right. You're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Are you a dynamic individual with a passion for sales? Do you thrive in a fast-paced environment where every sale counts? Then listen up. WNOV is seeking one exceptional individual to join our outstanding sales team. If you have a proven sales background and a drive to succeed, we want to hear from you. Don't wait another moment. Send us your resume via email at mjones@WNOV.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Welcome back, and we were just looking at a video of our own DJ Boogie. He was rocking that truck yesterday, man. Him and Kwabena. Oh
Yeah,
man, they was
yeah.
bumping it, and we were bumping y'all, man. You was rolling, man.
Well, and you know, I called your phone several times, man. I was trying to get you to do a break with me, man, just to kind of give me an update.
I was out there with the kids.
I could have. Oh,
with the fresh candy.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I mean, you know.
Let me do this. Y'all know I was going to talk about. No, not you, Carl. You know, I was going to talk about this. I talked about it last year, and this is why I love all African people all over the world. They do not disappoint. Right. The candy is for the kids.
Right.
I'll say it one more time. The candy is for the children.
Carvey, who's the candy for?
Hey, I think we shouldn't joke about that.
No, we ain't joking. No, because I'm gonna tell you what. Yeah, he can come in. He can come in. They can come. Oh, he won't Carvey.
Oh, okay. No more with the kids.
No more. No, but yeah. So I'm trying to. Yeah. That's why I was out. You know, when you were calling me, because I was looking. The phone was. We was out giving candy.
So you actually got out and handed the candy?
Oh, we handed, because that throwing the candy can. But I understand. But so we're out, and you get a chance to interact with the folks, and so there was two groups I struggled with yesterday. Grown people arguing with me about the candy for the kids. Kids with shopping bags full of candy still coming asking for more candy.
Wow.
So not shopping. Well, yeah, they were shopping bags.
T-shirt bags?
No, the regular plastic bags.
Yeah, T-shirt. Yeah, they call those T-shirt bags.
Okay. Yeah. They and some of these kids, I don't know who gave them the candy. So it must have been groups before us. So now I'm saying to them, you got a bag full of candy. Let's talk about the kids who don't, right? Oh my God. But the grown folks up here arguing with you about some candy for the kids. Come on, man. Really? Juneteenth Day. So
I thought, you know, I didn't get a chance to even walk it really. Kind of stayed within the area where we were. for what I could see, very well attended.
Wow, man.
I didn't see a lot of misbehaved
I didn't see any.
individuals. Everybody seemed to be, we don't want to be next to a band again next year.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
And this was, we had people in who was talking. Normally we don't.
Right.
We don't have that.
And that wasn't the original concept. I mean, they were supposed to be closed to the public.
Okay.
And people could just walk up, but there were so many that were in and then,
that knew her.
Yeah.
That,
yeah.
you know, and knew us.
Right.
You know,
right.
so it was, and so you got the conversations going on and it's going out and you're hearing, but you know, we get through that. It was still just watching people walk by and people and people, right. You see people you haven't seen. I'm gonna throw it out there. Yesterday as I was leaving, Rise and Grind, I bumped into Mandela Barnes.
Yeah, he was at the Blues Fest. In fact, I saw his father Friday as well as Saturday, and then Mandela was there Sunday, I believe it was.
Okay.
He walked over to our table and just greeted me and so forth. I don't know if he was even looking for me, but I was there, so I got the greeting.
Yeah, so it was good. Folks I hadn't seen, man. You know, people certainly came by us doing our live remote. So thank you all for that.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Thank you, Debo. Thank you, Mark. Doug, you know, make this happen in terms of us being out there.
And you know, we hadn't done that in a long time.
Right.
So it was
at Juneteenth.
Right. Did you notice our new tent? And I mean, all of the
visibility. Man, it was really nice.
The wheel.
I didn't want to look at your tent because I had to deal with my tent.
Tent?
You know, the fire program. We had our tent, man. I still got stuff in my car I got to drop off. It was now it's one thing. So when we sit up and it always gets back to enslavement, don't ever complain when you think about our folks and being out in that sun. Because that sun yesterday, I said it was Mississippi heat, and I had never been to Mississippi. But if I went to Mississippi, then I asked Michelle. She said, "Oh yeah, this is Alabama heat." It was hot. They ain't no getting around it.
I had a guy yesterday come to my man. This is just getting me ready for Vegas. No, that's a different kind of heat.
Different kind of heat, man.
Different kind of heat.
That humidity. And every now and then you might get some cloud cover. And I think towards the end of the event, you get cloud cover. But man, those folks, as a matter of fact, our new director had his son, I think, with him. And his son, with the heat, took a whole lot of them. I saw babies like knocked out in strollers. That heat wasn't playing yesterday. But you know what? That's how it's supposed to be. You know, it's outdoor. It's a festival.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, considering the alternative, it could have been rain, just pouring down rain.
We've had that.
You know, yeah, we have.
We've had that. Cold. I remember one year it was just felt like it was 50-something. It was damp. And oh, man. So,
Keith, I was talking to somebody, and I know you would know. I mean, you know, you being a native here, but I remember Juneteenth Day going all the way to North Avenue, and I remember like Newport and Salem, they would give out the little packs. Budweiser, the Miller beer would have stands throughout, and you could walk up and get a free cup of beer, and then they start selling it.
But I'm trying to remember the last group to do beer. I'm trying to remember that group to do beer. But you're right. But this was crazy, right? So, you know, we're doing the parade, and it's hot. And I'm out happy Juneteenth, and you know, just being the local celebrity I'm not, and just out happy Juneteenth.
Being the local celebrity that you're not.
That I'm not, right? And just going up and this brother was drinking this.
How was your trip? Oh, that's right. He's doing the show. Sorry about that.
Yeah, doing the program here. And this brother was drinking this Modelo. And it would look like it was ice cold. I said, but it was 9 o'clock. Oh Lord, it's hot enough. I wish I had one of these Modelos. I mean, and you know how when you got the condensation on it, you knew it was cold, man. And we was sweating. It was hot. That beer looked good, man.
Yeah, I didn't envy you guys at all. I was here under the air.
Yeah,
and I was good.
And me and DJ got out the truck and actually walked from, I want to say Keith Avenue, down to Burleigh when it turned off. So anyway, Juneteenth, we got another one under our belt.
Who are these people you got in here? You want to take this caller before we segue into?
They've been so gracious. It's okay to take the call?
Sure.
All right. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning. I heard you talking earlier, and Mr. Harris, you should have got you an ice cold beer yesterday.
Did you say Mr. Harris?
You can call me Mr. Harris.
What is what?
I'm Parris. The other guy is Harris, who I saw yesterday. But what's your last? I'm last name is Parris, Parris.
Okay, well, my apologies, Mr.
And I kind of look like Mr. Harris, Dr. Harris too, don't a little bit?
Okay, well, Mr. Parris, you should have got that ice cold beer yesterday. You deserve it. But my thing is, why is it when it comes to our people, they are always just living in fear of an entity that they never met, an entity that's probably done everything that they big enough to do in their time, and our people now today is focusing on living for death so they can get their blessings after they rot versus them focus on living now. Because in order to receive your blessings, you got to be able to bless yourself, rather waiting on somebody else.
Well, I ain't waiting on mine. I ain't waiting on mine. I ain't waiting to heaven to get to mine. I'm sorry. That theology, that dog ain't hunting. I mean, that's what they put on black people, especially during enslavement, to say, look, it's hard for you now. Keep on picking that cotton. Keep on doing what you're doing, because when you die, you're going to get your reward. And I'm sure that there was one enslaved individual who looked up and go, something's not making sense here. Because you go to church too, but you ain't talking about waiting to heaven to get your reward. You get yours here. That has been bad theology that has been put on our people to get us through, or they thought it would get us through. I think there was something else deeper than that. I just think our human desire to survive. But yeah, it's part of a theology, but it's theology I reject, this idea that you're going to get your reward when you get to heaven. And again, that seems only to apply to descendants of enslaved people, that theology, and maybe some other oppressed people. But for the people who are in the dominant position, that is not a operating theological principle. So anyway, appreciate you, man. Need to get to my guest. We're inside the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce moment.
Yes, we're going to have a moment.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay, man. How y'all doing?
Man, it's a dog-eat-dog world.
It is, man. It is. So again, it is the third Thursday of the month, and we're joined by Xavier, and we're joined by Mr. Ruben. How's everybody since the last time I saw y'all?
I'm good. Everybody's good.
I'm rested.
I know you, man. Y'all.
Sunday I stayed in bed all day.
I bet you did.
Yesterday I did too. So I'm finally caught up.
Man.
I went to Punta Cana a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Well, no, we did. They had their big event last Saturday.
We had a taste of
I
Black
heard
Milwaukee.
that the Sloppy Joes didn't.
I didn't win, but that's okay. Did you try them?
You know what? I was so busy. I was running around. So there's some of the cooks that just hunted me down. Come and taste this.
Okay.
Like that homemade ranch. I don't know if you had any.
I didn't, but he talked about it.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
That homemade ranch was delicious.
Well, I just
dressing?
Yes.
I just happened to be next to the winner.
Yes. Did you try his stuff? I didn't get to try his either.
I didn't eat anybody's food because I've been tasting, and so I had no appetite.
Okay.
I had no appetite. And I think it was the same way with a lot of people that had food there, because you're around that food, you've been tasting that food, they didn't have. But from what I was seeing,
yeah. Well, the only food I tasted was what somebody brought over to me.
Okay.
And D-Rock was right next to me. So I grabbed some of his stuff.
No, he did jambalaya.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not worried.
He was our celebrity cook. Yeah, our celebrity chef.
Yeah, he did jambalaya.
And then the gentleman that was across from me, he brought his wings over.
He's the one with the ranch.
Yeah, he's the one with the ranch. I got a bottle of it.
Well, Tevin and Marlo had wings. Tevin Buckner is the one with that homemade ranch dressing.
Right.
He does have
next to Tyrese.
Marlo was next to him.
Yeah. So I had his, and then I had the one wing I took off Paige's plate. I don't know who it was from, but she came over to get.
She had a
some of
full
my-
wing that came from
No, it was just
Jay
a drumming.
Gourmet.
It was just a drum.
Yeah, but it was the bigger
Yeah.
one because Tevin had the smaller ones and Jay Gourmet had the bigger wing, so it came from him. I got one of the bigger wings and some of that ranch dressing, and it was just like a whole
And he
party
come
in my
over, and I
mouth.
should have got over there, man, but we ended up. We cut out at 2. It's been a long day.
So you didn't wait to see who the winner was?
I know it wasn't me.
How you know? Now, what if it had been? Because one of the chefs did leave, and I had to call him to come back because he placed. I mean, of course, he didn't win, but he placed in the event. So there was different options, and I told y'all at the meeting y'all had to stay.
I know you did. But y'all moved on to the other piece that was going on the other side. It really was a nice event.
It was a great event. I was really happy because the vendors, most of them sold out. Once Men Who Cook shut down, people immediately, when we opened up a Taste of Black Milwaukee with the restaurants, those lines started filling up immediately. So everything just flowed really well. I was really happy with the turnout. We had close to 300 people show up.
And the crazy thing was these 2 dudes, the 2 young dudes. I don't know if you saw them. White dude and looked like the other guy could have been Middle Eastern.
I didn't get to see them.
Yeah, so what they would do, they got there early. They sampled everybody, but it was always between beers. So they go get them a couple beers. Then they sample, they come back, get another beer, they come back. And I was like, oh, you finally made it over to us. So then they got over to us with fish and grits and the wings, and then me here. But yeah, it was good to see people there and to watch how they reacted to the food. It was interesting. So thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Oh, absolutely. And you could come back, next year and, maybe
I'm gonna figure it out because I had it. I didn't know whether or not to bring bread because you know.
That was actually the one thing when everybody said, "Did you taste the sloppy joes?" They liked the sloppy joes, but everybody wanted some bread.
Right, and I didn't know.
Yeah, so you should have made it a little sandwich that they had to get.
Oh, now you tell me.
Well, I can't tell you this before time, and I didn't know it.
No, I should. Yeah, we did bring some. We did bring some slider rolls, and so I'll know next year.
Give them a little sandwich,
Yeah.
make them cut it in half.
A little
and
sandwich.
stick
Yeah,
it in.
it was.
Yeah.
But I thought it was. I wasn't expecting to win. This is my first time ever doing it.
Well, it was Tice's first time, and the thing that I was
Of course,
happy
he's
about
20 years old.
I was happy about that though, so I've been around Men Who Cook. So back when it started, I was around, and then I cut out, and then now I'm back again. So there were some people that were in Men Who Cook from back when it first started, and so it was good to see the younger faces because like Ruben always says, it's the young people that's going to take us into the future because we're not going to be here forever, right? So it was good to see the younger people start to participate and find it a worthy activity
And
to
he
be
did
part
a traditional dish.
Fish and grits.
Fish
Yep.
and grits.
And it was good from what I hear.
I
They
watched
said
him make the
everything was
grits.
seasoned perfectly.
I watched him make the grits. He was making up some more grits, and so we were comparing notes on how to make grits. I asked him, and so I made a suggestion. We'll see if my nephew is a caterer, and so when he does grits, he uses heavy cream. Oh my God.
Yeah, everybody was saying that his grandmama had to have taught him how to make them grits.
His mama was there.
Was she?
His mama.
I didn't
was
see
there.
that part.
Yeah, his
See, I
mama
was
there.
busy.
And you could look at part of her wanting to, but he had to cover. Yeah, his mom was there.
Okay, so all right. So the mama's mama probably taught the mama.
Let me tell
So that
you,
recipe got
I had to
passed
explain
down.
at home that it was men to cook. Okay, I'm just telling you where I was coming from. So that's his mama, and I'm sure she was hovering around trying to see how people. Here's another little trick though. You walk by the garbage can. Walk by the garbage can.
There was not much food in the garbage.
That's
there
what I was
all
looking
just
for.
plates.
Just plates.
Yes.
Because when you walk by and you see your food in the garbage,
there was not much
so
food.
it wasn't. I didn't see that. You're right. All I saw was I saw some plates. Just garbage. So because people be very nice to you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then they go dump it.
Go find it. You can dump it as soon as they get out of eyesight.
Just for clarity purposes, Is it prepared on site or is it stuff that you bring in prepared?
That's the individual decision. So some were cooking on site.
The ranch
'cause they wanted
wing
to serve
guy,
it
he brought
fresh.
his whole wing operation because he was
Yeah.
doing the wings right there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Tevin and Marlo were both doing their wings right there. Yep. So they were frying.
Okay.
And then some people make it ahead of time and just put it in the shafer and keep it warm. But yeah.
That's what I
So
did.
how are you guaranteed that those that prepare it ahead of time is just on their own credibility or that they prepared it themselves?
We don't.
You have to go on the honesty system, you know. You got to trust people to a certain degree, and
You know, if your wife put it together for you and then you there serving it, it's men who cook. If you didn't cook it, we don't really do a background check to see.
Yeah.
You know,
you might want to go to going forward. You know, your wife cooked that.
I only ask that as one who has a few trophies and with my grilling ability, that the total credibility should be preserved.
Here we go, like, here we go.
You about to tell on yourself?
Hold on, wait a minute.
No.
Devo, hold on a minute. Hey, Carby, can you cue up his theme music, please?
No, I just thought it was done on site. I don't know.
No, it's not done on site.
Depends
Man.
on what you're doing.
Right.
Like I cooked the night before.
No, what you did
I did the cheesy chicken and potato casserole,
right?
The peanut butter chocolate cake, and then a Beyond Burger dip.
A Beyond spicy
It was two alarm
burger.
right.
Two alarm, yeah.
I saw some people eating it and they sweating, eyes all red. So what's happening? Oh, this Reuben's. I'm saying, oh, okay.
I accidentally put a whole chip in my mouth, and I don't like spicy.
Okay.
I was like, oh no, I don't even know. Oh yeah, it
You
was
don't like spicy?
No. But if people who like spicy, they'll love that 2 alarm. I think it was a 5 alarm. Oh my God.
I remember one time we went to BW3s, and I don't know what that highest level of heat was.
You tried it?
Just one. Because after a while, it's just cayenne pepper. You don't even, because you still want to taste the meat.
That's what I want to taste.
Yeah, you want to be able to taste the meat. One of the things I'm really working in my little fledgling cooking is that you want people to experience as many different sensations from the cooking as possible. I have a cowboy cookie here, and I'm shout out Collectivo. That cowboy cookie is so good, but the last taste you have is maple.
Man, I want to shout out those Crown Apple Cranberry cookies from
Rodney Trigg.
Yes. Oh my God. Ooh-wee.
That's my guy. He feeds the guy because he does fatherhood program. So part of it is they get to eat. Man, that cake and his cookies.
He won. Both of them won. His caramel. What is it? The caramel pound. Is it pound cake? Yeah. His caramel pound cake, and then his cookies. So he took first and second in desserts.
Well, there wasn't a lot of desserts though, what?
Well, there was cheesecake. There was some
Who had
stuff.
cheesecake?
My brother had cheesecake.
yeah.
He won third place
Okay.
with cheesecake, and then I had the
Peanut
peanut butter
butter.
chocolate cake.
Oh, so your brother won?
Yeah, he always beats me. He beats me every
I'm just
year.
saying. So your brother won? No.
Yeah. Well, see, men who cook, I compete, but I never win because I think people know that I'm.
So would it be
organizer?
Would it be looked at differently if you won?
I've won before. I
Oh,
have
you
won
have won.
place a place.
I know I would have walked out of there saying something. Wait a minute. Who won? Oh, this ain't rigged. Wait a minute. Come on, man. Wait a minute.
I know my sloppy Joe was better than what he had made.
So
His 2 alarms.
It's too alarm.
in 22 years, I've won a couple of second and third place prizes for my dessert or for something else. But the way the men who cook is judged, the people do the judging when they come. So none of the staff are voting unless they buy tickets and they go through the lines.
How does one become a part of it if they chose to?
As a cook, you just sign up.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Because I knew I didn't get an invitation, so
Yeah, you go online to TWBCC, and if you check in regularly, you'll know all of the things that we are doing.
Was that a shot just then? If you check in regularly, did you hear that, kid?
No, because that's how I got in. We were talking last Thursday, and I got to talking about were you here? Because we were talking about the sloppy joes, and somebody said you should enter.
It could have been me.
Yeah, and so I did. That
Okay.
I know. I wasn't here last.
So it would be unfair of me to get into something like that.
No,
you know,
wouldn't.
with my abilities.
No,
Well, there are. See, here's the
Carvey,
thing.
I need that theme music, man.
Here's the thing about men who cook. You can be, we had chefs, professional chefs that are enter.
Oh, so
and
you
we
can.
and we have just regular guys like me, like Keith, just regular guys that have some dish that they think they can cook, and they want to enter it. And the rules is hot food has to stay hot at a certain temperature. Cold food has to stay cold at a certain temperature. And as long as you do that, if the health department comes through and they stick their thermometer in your stuff and it ain't right, they're gonna shut it down. Your station, right? But everybody else can continue. So as long as you meet the health department standards for what you prepare, and then after that is presentation and taste.
And now I heard you say something, Keith, when you and I spoke about this. With that, you have to prepare for X amount of people.
250 samples,
right?
251 ounce samples.
And that's what kind of threw us off, because it wouldn't announce when to fit it on the bun. It would have been a little bit more, but that's okay. Some people did actually get a sandwich. So
here's the thing. It's a 1 ounce sample. However, like if you're going to do a sandwich, so one of the previous competitors in other years, he would bring his own little what do you call it, saucers, the little plates, his own little smaller plates. That's what I just call them, because what he was serving couldn't fit in the 1 ounce cup. So you can still bring your own stuff. It's just what we supply is that 1 ounce cup.
Right. And then you're saying that you need to have enough, because you could have 250 people.
Right. So if you cut that sandwich into 4, then you just do the math, and then that's what you have. One of the things that I really like about this year, that I really liked about Men Who Cook and A Taste of Black Milwaukee, and the way it kind of worked together, some of the chefs that were competing were also the restaurants on the other side. So then people who had got a little sample and like that sample, they were like the first ones in line to buy an actual plate, because now you can buy a plate. Before you could only get the little sample, now you can buy a whole meal. And that really worked out well for a lot of them, because like I said, most of our vendors sold out. The dessert lady came up. She said, I know you said we had to stay till the end of the event, but I sold out. I said, well, I guess you can go then.
The dessert lady who has been part in the past, who's the lady that does the cakes? And
was that Desiree?
Yeah, her name was Desiree.
Yeah.
I don't know if you may be thinking of Miss Annie's, because she's at most of our events.
She's at a lot of events.
Yeah, she's at most of our events.
Oh man, oh my God. And that's the cool thing about hanging out with y'all, man. I have had
some good stuff.
Now, and just being fair, you talk about the importance of customer service.
Yeah.
And since I have started watching The Bear, has anybody seen The Bear yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
But it's about these chefs and the whole world being a chef. And a lot of his presentation, but you all were working on the whole customer service piece with some of these restaurants. And we had an experience where I was at an event, and I was just watching how the food was coming out. They were getting orders wrong. And so I'm watching all of this, and so then I said, I'm not going to buy any food. Now, if I ever get a chance to talk to the owner of the establishment, so you got to do better than that, because I'm sitting up and watching. And the food would have been good, but I'm just watching. Every time I look up, oh man, we got that order wrong. Like, you got to get the order right first of all. Make sure that what I ordered, I'm getting. And that kind of then turned me off. I didn't want to try the food, because if you're confused about your orders, I can only imagine. And I guess the food was good from everything I heard, but I got turned off just by watching that, because I come in, I do a dual role. I'm the guy coming in, but we do this, right? So I observe now your whole customer service. We go to places, your restaurants and I go like, let's see.
Yeah, I pay attention to everything. Fingerprints on the door.
Yeah.
Whether or not my table's cleaned off, how loud the music is, all those things make a difference. There are places I don't go because the music's too loud, and I can't even enjoy the company I'm with, because I got to yell at them just to have a conversation. And the music I can hear, People can hear the music.
It's supposed to
Bad
be
for your
background
yeah, it's
music.
bad for your digestion.
I don't know about all that.
No, it is. That is bad for your digestion. You. That's why you go to restaurants if you hear any music. It's usually, especially during the dinner hour, it's usually very
Because it's supposed
relaxing.
to be background.
Right, background is not, and you yelling. That I went to a spot. They closed now. I could say it, Mr. J's, and they was doing a fish fry. I'm going. This ain't a fish fry. This is you just doing what do you call it, jam, whatever. The music was so loud. If I'm trying to eat and I'm bringing people in, we're trying to have a conversation. And so I'm not only am I yelling, I'm trying to eat the food too.
Yeah.
So you're right, all those little things, and I thank you all for that exposure. That when I go in now, especially the venues that you all pick, I'm really watching. Because I go like, the whole customer service, and maybe they don't understand, or it could be they're short staffed,
which is a lot of them.
A lot of them right now, where you're going in and you kind of going like, man, I don't know. So,
well, all the reviews for the people in our Black restaurant group, all the reviews that they get go to come to us, especially when they use their gift certificates. And then we have somebody that looks at all the reviews, compiles them all, then have a monthly meeting with all of the restaurants, and they go over those and say, this was you, this one was you, this one was you, in front of everybody. That these are, so that the other restaurants can know what people are running into when they go to go out to eat. And I'm shocked that some restaurants weren't open on Father's Day. I was just, how you not open on Father's Day? I saw people driving up to Coffee Mix Block and getting out the car with their family, going to the door, they were closed. Now, why they were closed, I don't know. But
were they closed on Mother's Day?
Nothing's closed on Mother's Day.
I know.
That's when they make
opening
their
up
most money.
restaurants
Yes.
on Mother's
Yeah.
Day, right?
Yep.
I was like that, and it was a Sunday. It was Father's Day, and I saw at least 3 cars and myself drive up, get out of the car with their family, and walk up to the door, and it was closed. And I was like, why? And we same thing on Black Friday last year, the day after Thanksgiving, closed. I was like, restaurants are not supposed to take the holidays off, like, even though you got workers.
But do you think that maybe the day after Thanksgiving, depending on what the cuisine of that restaurant is, let's say it's a soul food restaurant, on that Friday, I don't want to necessarily. You think that's it? I'm just speculating. I know the day after Thanksgiving, I don't want Thanksgiving food.
Well, you have a large population of single people.
Right.
You have a large population of just all ethnicities that like soul food. And even though their Thanksgiving may consist of whatever, matzo balls or whatever, on the day after Thanksgiving, they may be looking for a soul food restaurant. They may want some greens and some baked macaroni and cheese. I think there's always a market for soul food for sure.
The other part of it is that there are a lot of people in town visiting,
that too.
Right? And you want to take them out, right? And so we are limited in where we can take people. And so if you're going to take them anywhere, let's take them to one of our premier Black restaurants. But if those restaurants are closed, as if they're taking the day off too, it's like, what are we doing here? We're the opportunity now. The Greek restaurants are open.
Chinese restaurants are open.
Chinese restaurants, all the other places are open, but our facilities are closed, and people are like scratching their heads saying, what are we doing here? And so there's a misunderstanding as to what the days are that you could be making the most money or make some good money as a business. But my Sundays are at Coffee Make You Black, and anytime they're not open, I'm just
You're listening to Community Voice. We're inside the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce moment. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. the Cook event last Saturday. And today is Third Thursday.
Yes, it is.
Pitch contest.
Absolutely.
Renner
Number
spoons.
6. We're going to find the 6th winner tonight that's going to compete for $10,000 in December. December is getting close too. It's closer now than it's ever been.
Yeah. It's going to be where are we having it?
We are at Mobay Cafe at 1022 South First Street from 5 to 9 p.m. tonight. Come on down and get some of that great food with the little Caribbean flair. She's got some great drinks down there. I've hung out a couple times now. I hadn't heard of it before it was referred to me. And yeah, it's a really nice place. If you have never been, you should come and try it.
I like the meatballs are amazing. I only go for the meatball appetizers. I don't order anything else, just the meatballs.
I had the
When's your
salmon.
birthday, man?
November 2nd.
Okay.
That's Scorpio. I had the salmon.
Sound like a Cancer though.
Oh no, he's an absolute
I'm a
Scorpio.
Cancer. I eat the same thing, same way every time. I'll look at your board, but I'm going to order what I order. So let me shout out my good folks down at Pepper Pot, because I know he's known for the oxtails. I know those egg rolls, but it's that Rasta pasta. Oh, I love that Rasta pasta. I was talking to one day I came in. I said, you got Rasta pasta? He said, you're not going to speak, Keith?
Yeah, I do the jerk nachos at Pepper Pot every time I go.
Okay.
Because it's just the way they make them and
great food.
Yeah,
great food.
I like to try everything that sounds good until I find like a favorite something.
Oh, let me tell you what he did. One time he did a sample and he did oxtails and he put it on pasta. He only did it one time. It was great.
I don't eat oxtail. I don't eat nobody
funny,
tail.
I was listening to The Fly on Sirius, and they were doing a West Indian show. And this guy, they were going back and forth about what is, I think it was Jamaican. They said, so what is it in Jamaica? He says, the jerk wings? He said, no, man, oxtails. I didn't realize how big oxtails are in Jamaica. Obviously, every Jamaican restaurant here serves them. So, but yeah, it says the oxtail.
You know, I ate some oxtails at a restaurant and I got sick. And I don't know if it was the oxtails or something else, because the person that I was with didn't get sick, and she ate some too. And but just because it was oxtails, because I don't eat pork, and I don't eat certain things I don't eat, and for some reason I got sick, and I just every time somebody mentions oxtails to me, I'm like, no, I'm going to try that up there.
It's just like them fried green tomatoes.
Really?
It was so good going down, but it was horrible. I had it.
Oh, I was over at Cermax and they had oxtails. And it could have been maybe $8-9 a pound. And then, I do near me, right? Oh man, you can go over there to El Rey and you get them for like $2.99 a pound. Yeah, so I run my little butt over to El Rey to get my little $2.99 a pound. That was a bad idea. Oh, that was a bad idea. Look, folks, cheap meat.
Well, at Mobay, it's not cheap meat. She said that her oxtails are the most popular item on the menu. That's what everybody else kind of had. I was the only one sitting there with salmon, right?
But did your family? My grandmother made oxtails. I love my.
No, my mama was not making no oxtail.
Really?
No, the closest she came.
No, that's just it. Oxtails were cheap.
Yeah.
When I was coming up, we had oxtails all the time.
Yeah, it was.
Now they're expensive because more people are eating them.
Yeah, I'll give you another one. I don't do them anymore. Should have never have, but chitlins.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't do them anymore.
I left that alone when I stopped eating pork. But also, so my mom would make gizzards.
Oh, chicken gizzards?
Yeah.
Fried?
She would fry them, yeah. Sometimes she would fry them and put them over gravy. Put them over rice, and then sometimes she put the gravy over the gizzards with the rice.
It just depends how they're cooked. If they're chewy, no.
You want them cooked.
I want them cooked. Like, I like liver, and I like, but it has to be cooked right. Otherwise, if it's too chewy, it's not cooked.
Liver.
No, no liver.
Oh man,
No, thank you.
liver at all. And then
Yeah.
come to find out that liver is not good for you. So that
A lot of the stuff we
I heard
eat,
it was good for
a
you.
lot of stuff y'all eat is not good for you.
I think the nurses were saying that it doesn't have the nutritional value that we think it has. I know my
They said
mama
something about it. It's good for the bloodstream. It cleans your
It's
blood
supposed
or
to be
something.
high in iron and all that kind of good
iron, but
stuff.
you can get
Mhm.
iron from
You could take a
from a
supplement.
steak.
You can.
From a cookie, from a steak. I mean, no, I don't, man. I don't do liver, and I know people love what is that liver? What do they put it? Liver and bacon?
Pate.
That, oh
That
no,
liver pate.
no, certainly
On a
not.
cracker.
Oh
delicious.
man, well, there's people.
Oh my God.
People who do the raw round on
The
a cracker,
raw beef.
raw beef.
Yeah, can't
Raw
do
beef
that.
and rye.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I had a professor that's one of their things,
Mhm.
and he brought it in one day to try it. So I like my steaks rare, medium rare,
Mhm.
something like that. So I was game for it, but it's the raw beef and onion on rye. And it was something about the raw onion that made it worse to me. I think I
Yeah.
could have maybe did it better
It's
without the
bad
onion.
enough we eat meat. We need to cook the meat. I
But
mean,
you have to have a certain quality of meat as well.
I
It's just like sushi. I love sushi. You eat
Really?
sushi?
some of it I'm allergic to,
Okay.
but I did try the tuna.
Hmm.
And what makes sushi so good is the dips that they have.
I love it just with the ginger. I put the ginger
Little
on
ginger?
it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's delicious.
Well, you like seafood then, right?
I love seafood.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
have seafood allergy. So
Oh, okay.
like you gave me shrimp, you killed me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So but
That's messed up.
ah,
No
you-
salmon?
No, I can eat salmon, but it's shellfish.
It's the shellfish, yeah. Mhm.
But salmon, I was eating salmon, and here's what's crazy. You talk about how you
Mhm.
get sick from something, you never want it again. I was doing salmon, actually, me and my mom doing salmon, and I got COVID.
Not from the salmon.
Not from the salmon. Yeah, that's another way you can get it. They're not telling you all that, man.
Don't say that. Somebody just tuning in and they heard you say that.
Oh, you get COVID
Clarified
from
that at the
salmon,
same
right?
time.
Yeah.
He left it like he had gotten COVID from the salmon. I never said that. That's what y'all concluded.
Yeah, no, but when you're sick and you eat stuff, you don't want to, because it's the taste, and it reminded me. And I had very, very, very mild case of COVID. This was after, this is like we're getting in 2 years after the big outbreak, but so I haven't eaten salmon since.
Wow. That's one
and
of
it
my
was
favorites.
smoked salmon too, and it was just like I don't eat German chocolate cake because when I was a kid, I had the flu, and my mom had this cake. And I associated with me.
This guy needs counseling, food counseling.
He had some traumas related to food.
Y'all had some food trauma. Don't act like you ain't had no food trauma. You had some.
Yeah, she had some. She just mentioned it.
He just mentioned.
Yeah,
fried green tomato.
Fried green tomato.
I can't eat oatmeal, but I can't eat oatmeal like if you gave me a bowl of oatmeal with whatever they put on
love
it.
Oatmeal.
I would gag.
Okay,
right?
I got a good one.
Let me
Go
finish.
ahead.
Let me finish. I can eat the heck out of some oatmeal cookies.
There you go.
So it's the consistency probably
Yeah.
that really.
I got one.
I hate cabbage,
And
but I eat coleslaw.
okra.
Yeah, same thing.
Fried.
So it's the
slimy.
consistency.
What
I
about
love all of
Eat
that
it
stuff.
Anyway,
You can't eat it fried. I cannot eat it slimy,
yeah.
but I love it fried.
I love okra. Either way,
Really?
cabbage, coleslaw. Y'all ever had broccoli slaw?
Yes.
That's some of the best stuff.
Oh,
I
that's
love
Never
broccoli
had
slaw.
broccoli.
That sounds
Yeah.
good.
It
It's
is good.
delicious.
It is very good.
I'll
And
make you
healthy.
some. It's easy to make. I'll make you
and
some.
very
Drop it
healthy.
off.
But no, it's a contradiction sometimes you have with people who will say, "Well, I don't eat that, but I eat this."
Mhm.
I'm with you on the oatmeal, and the reason why, again, another childhood food trauma.
Oh, here we go.
My mama made that every morning before she went to work. And my mama didn't put a lot of love in it. She just made
Oh,
it
man.
and left it, and we're supposed to eat it before we go to school. And man, so much oatmeal went down that toilet. I mean, it was just like, oh man. But I will eat an oatmeal cookie.
Love oatmeal cookies. Oatmeal and raisin cookies. That's the greatest stuff.
I actually got into it with my first wife about cottage cheese because she was trying to feed me some cottage cheese on a spoon right out the container, and a little round slimy stuff. And I was like, don't be, I don't eat that. But a friend of mine's wife made some lasagna,
Mhm.
and she had made it with cottage cheese.
Instead of ricotta.
No.
I don't know. It was
And
cottage
see,
cheese.
that's a mistake. That's a mistake we make as African Americans. We get it, and we're trying to figure out what it is. She thought it was cottage cheese. She didn't know that it was ricotta. I guarantee it. She made it wrong. It should have been ricotta cheese.
I don't know what it was, but I was eating it.
Mhm.
And my wife said,
Pissed.
"Oh, you can eat her stuff."
Yeah.
But when I was trying to give you cottage cheese, you wouldn't, you know, and I'm like, it's still lasagna.
And you woke up to the divorce papers.
There you go. Hey, what's your grounds for divorce? Cottage cheese. It is, and I think that's in some ways a distinct. It's our lived life experiences that you attach. There are old Black people who hate spam,
Mhm.
and they hate spam because spam was a commodity that they got when you go through the welfare office. They give you these large commodities. So my mother during the war, they ate spam. She said she'd never eat spam again. And she didn't, because she during World War II was one of those ration things that they had.
I don't eat spam either.
I won't eat it now, but I had some spam sandwiches over the years.
Oh,
I've had it before, but it's got pork. The
got pork.
remnants of
Actually,
I don't eat
and
pork,
spam
so-
is probably as good a piece of pork, you don't eat pork, as you would get if you had like a certain type of ham. It really is. It is like some of the best parts of the pig. But we should be eating pork, right?
Yeah, we shouldn't be eating
But
pork.
isn't spam
period.
like it could have chicken hearts or anything?
It could have everything. It was like
read the can.
It's
like hot dogs. Hot dogs are a mushed up
Everything
product
that's
of
left.
everything that's left.
Hot dog,
Bologna, and I used to love some bologna sandwiches. After school, fry up that bologna.
Well, I went to school in Maryland, and right on the Chesapeake Bay. Right, we're near, so we went on it, but we're near it, and so seafood is really, really big coming out the bay. All those years out there, I never had a crab cake.
Really?
I
love
never
crab
had a
cakes.
crab cake. Now they did have something at Mount St. Mary's called, what was it called? What was it? Seafood cake or fish cake?
Fish cakes.
Yeah, we used to call it fish bits because they took all the pieces of the fish they normally don't eat and ground it up and make this thing that was like a poor man's crab cake. You like crab cake?
I love crab cake. If they serve crab cakes, that is what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get a crab cake to see if they got it right. I done ran into some great crab cakes. But while we talking about all this food, you got to wash it down with something. So I just want to go ahead and segue into our Black Winemaker Chicago day trips because we need a little wine.
When's the
going
next
on.
one?
So the next class that you can sign up for is our July 20th class. We've had a great year. All of our classes have been full. Okay. And so now we're getting into the bottling. So this month is our first bottling class. Okay. So this month we're making and bottling. So people are coming in to make for the first time, and then some of us are bottling. And so moving forward, it'll be making and bottling. August is going to be our final making class. And I'm saying that so that if you are out there and you want to do the winemakers class, do not put it off. Go to the website, twbcc.com, twbcc.com, and sign up for the Black Winemaker Chicago day trip. It's a great experience. We eat and we go make wine, and then we go somewhere after. It's kind of like a group vote where you want to go. I think Ruben said y'all went to some marketplace thing last time. What'd y'all do?
No, we went to MacArthur's, which is we went to MacArthur's, which is a restaurant that's famously known for Barack Obama when he was a senator. Him and the family used to go there. So they even have a room off to the side where they used to go and eat. And then you see all the pictures of Harold Washington and all the different celebrities that have gone through. It's pretty cool.
Hyde Park?
No, this is not in Hyde Park. This is in West Chicago.
Oh, okay.
It might have been before they got the big house in Hyde Park, because the house in Hyde Park is a bigger house.
And they're
got to
doing,
start somewhere.
They're building his library.
Yeah.
down in Hyde
Yep.
Park.
Mhm. That's a good
We
project
see
over
that
there.
you can pass that construction if you just want to look and see the grains. But it's
May I ask a technical question on the wine? How long does it have to ferment?
Well, it has to be there at least 8 weeks.
Okay.
So our when you pay the fee, it covers both of the classes and both trip. What am I trying to say? Transportation to both of the classes. So it's one fee and it covers everything that you're going to do. You go. So we went in April. So now it's June. We're going back to Bottle. You can leave it longer than that. If you can't go back, it's not like, okay, you got to go. Otherwise it's going to go bad. You can let wine ferment as long as you want to.
And usually I thought the preference is to let it ferment
as long as you want to.
As long as possible.
But it has to ferment at least 8 weeks. So now we're going back to Bottle. And again, our last class for making wine is in August. Right now we're booking July's class. So you want to go to the website if you want to take this and have this experience. You want to go to the website, TWBCC, and register to go for July or August. And August will be the last trip to make wine. Everything else after that will just be going back to Bottle. And then we'll start again next year in April.
All right. And so tonight we are at
Mobay Cafe for a third Thursday networking event featuring the pitch competition, 5 to 9 p.m. If you want to pitch, come on down. If you want to support somebody who's pitching.
Yeah, it's a really nice spot. They have a lot of room. They got an outdoor
patio
area, and we're taking over. So
we always take over. That's what we do.
Hope they're ready.
And after the pitch, there's always a party, so you want to be there for that too.
And you also, I think what you also have done is by choosing these different venues, letting people know these places even exist.
Yes. And for me, because I just moved back from Chicago, right? When Ruben came and snatched me up, and he's like, I want it at a different Black-owned place every month. I'm like, how many Black-owned places are there? And so it has been a learning experience for me. We have a lot of Black-owned restaurants and lounges here that we just don't really know about. And I love, exposing people to what we really do have. There's a lot of positive brothers and sisters out there doing some stuff, and we just don't patronize them because we don't know about them.
So, which is a segue into what I was going to ask you. We are less than a month away from RNC.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is going to be a great opportunity for a lot of these restaurants to be exposed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, what we've done is we've put into all of the hotels in southeastern Wisconsin, the tourist destination and the corporate headquarters, we put our Black Milwaukee, where to go and what to do. And what that has in it, it has Black restaurants, Black barbershops, Black beauty salons, Black radio, Black churches. So anybody who's coming into town who really wants to do business with Black people are going to be able to find those folks that are dealing with us, the Wisconsin Black Chamber. And they'll be able to find a Black restaurant. If they need to get their hair done, they'll be able to find a Black barbershop, beauty salon, whatever they're looking for. So there's no excuse that they can't find us because it's in all the hotels already. And then we expanded into Chicago for August for the DNC.
Yep.
And so there are additional 10,000 that we're going to distribute into Chicago, hotels, tourist destinations, corporate headquarters for the DNC. So it'll be the same thing. The only exception is we're working with the National Black Chamber to plan an event, a Black business event in Chicago during the DNC. There's no real Black business event planned for the RNC. I don't know why, but it's just
maybe because there's not a lot of Black people.
There's Black Republicans.
A lot of Black people.
No,
there's a whole lot of Black people in the DNC.
There's Black Republicans.
You saw.
Oh yeah, I'm not arguing that it isn't. As a matter of fact, I spoke to 3 of them yesterday.
Two. You saw three.
I saw 3 of them yesterday.
I saw 2 of them yesterday.
So. Yeah.
And it's the same 2 I always see. The same 2 I've been seeing for years.
I see them on TV, so I know they exist. But that's all.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I told
Well,
there's
actually,
a columnist for the Washington Post, Art Buchwald, back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about this is about the time that Jesse Jackson was running. I think the first time for president, He said, why wouldn't you want to be a black Republican? So you black Republican, when you come in, everybody's falling all over you because there's not that many black people in the room. So you go to be a Democrat, so many black Democrats, it's nothing special, right? And so I think that when you look at the scarcity of black folks in the Republican Party compared to black folks who align themselves with the Democratic Party. But you are right, there are black
The Republican theory makes sense. It's just the people that are
the whole business, their approach to business.
Yes, the tax breaks. They want to leave the money in the hands of the businesses versus the people, and the Democrats want to put the money in the hands of the people, and Republicans figure they're just going to buy spending
But here's
rims.
what's real interesting: if you go in and you look at statistically, businesses do better under Democratic administrations than they do under Republican. The only thing they're gonna get under the Republican administration is probably gonna be a tax cut, which is huge.
Yeah.
But when you look at how the economy is growing now, who's benefiting from this growing economy? Business. Who's president? Joe Biden. I'm gonna wrap it up.
Hey, touche. That's all I can say.
No, I mean it's a statistical because I would think the same thing. Oh, you get a Republican administration, and they're gonna be really.
I heard more business owners, just as I'm around talking to people, say that they did better under Trump's.
Oh,
reign.
I heard that.
I know that's the bad word. I'm just repeating what I heard.
No, because they find the folks, and I'm kind of going okay. But look, probably the reason why you're doing better is because you're post-COVID. There was no COVID during most of the Trump administration.
Didn't COVID come right at Trump's start?
No, at the end, in 20, he was running for re-election. So we had the three, and then those people who were benefiting, let me throw it out there, you benefited from the policies of Barack Obama, who got us out of that economic mess we found ourselves in 2008.
Yeah, and I think I'd rather see what we're going through now, where we're able to help hundreds of businesses rather than 2 or 3 black businesses that are doing well because they got a tax break. And we hope it trickles down.
The trickle down theory, yep.
Yeah, we hope it trickles down and they will hire more people at minimum wage than if we're able to help more businesses operate smarter and get access to capital. So as far as access to capital, I think the Biden administration has done an amazing job. And if you're paying attention, you would see it. And people who are not paying attention, if you have questions, call me.
It's funny. I know we got to go, but I bumped into a Republican and he was talking. He said, Joe Biden better do da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da for this, some kind of business, da-da-da-da-da-da, or he's in trouble. You're looking at it from the business perspective, but the fact that he's even in position to do it is kind of telling. Ruben, Xavier, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We were just Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce, and again, we want to thank you. We always look forward to Third Thursdays. Look, let me thank everybody. Let me thank Michelle, Debo, Carvey. Anybody else with me? Oh, Keon for a moment. Good Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.
Peace.
Wondering what makes Wisconsin Dells the perfect summer getaway? Let's find out. Let's splash. Let's play. Let's try something completely